Morning, Bunker. I've got an update for you. If you watched the last video, I had set up a pretty dodgy tool rest, piece of wood clamped to the bench with a bit of alloy on the top, and yeah, I think it was just a rush thing, and it was like, I wonder if this will work, but nah, it just wasn't going to be suitable. Long term, rubbish. So I've gotten rid of that. And what I started to do then was look around, see what I could get in the way of tube steel. And lucky for me, I've got a friend locally. He's homeless, but you know, he helped me out. But he managed to source me, or help me out sourcing some steel. And my idea now is coming to life. So what it is using, obviously, I have to use my bench because I'm limited by space. I have to try and do everything I can around this spot. Okay. So with that in mind, I was lucky enough to get from the homeless man 2 pieces of tube steel. Obviously a larger piece and a smaller piece. And what I've done is, bit of mucking around, deciding how long, how high, and that kind of thing. But obviously I've settled on it now, the height, because there's no going back. But you can see I've bolted to the bench the larger tube, and it's bolted here with a 150mm bolt. And then, as you can see, it's centered onto the leg because obviously it can't be off to the side or anything, it'd be trouble. And just sits above the top of the bench, just slightly, only for the reason that I've put a keeper there. Thanks for that, Paul. And a keeper, where are we? Here. So I've got 2. And what these are for is the adjustment of the inner tube here. So this inner tube now is adjustable to 3 positions. Just here, about the center, and just about here. So, I'll be able to make contact with, a blade in each section. And just, why do I do 3? I don't know. Because I could. So based on that, also the reason, get back to this point here, why I put the keeper above the bench top is, like, how was I going to keep the part here at the top secure? Because it's only being held in one spot. The clamp isn't staying there because I'm sure I smashed my knees on it. But I picked up from good old Bunnings this. It's in the section, I don't know, where was it? In like hooks and that kind of thing. So it's a piece of steel. It's reasonably thick. And the idea is you can bend it. And what I intend to do is line up those little notches there, so bend it around the main part of the tube, bend it around the side, and then bend it onto here. And put in a couple of screws into the wood frame, and that should secure it. It's not going to go anywhere. So that was about $3.60. And I think that'll work great. So then the next part is, how was I going to attach the tool rest, which a piece of 75 by 75 steel, which I was able to acquire, which is great. And the idea is it's going to go on like that. Sit there right on top. It's about 336 mil, I think. Yeah, it is. And yeah, it will sit out about 5 to 10 mil from the belt. Now, to attach it though, I was like, how the hell am I going to attach it? And what I came up with was, because I had basically a meter of this smaller diameter tube, I used another piece and notched it out. So the idea is this: it goes over there, and obviously, it'll sit flush, and I'll bolt it between them two lines here. Bolt it from the belt side through with some countersunk bolt and nuts, which I don't think it'll have to be that far countersunk anyway, because what it is the right angle. There will be a little bit of gap between the face of the right angle on the inside, if that makes sense. It won't be, it's all approx. I've done it pretty close, and there will be clearance from that drive wheel as well, which is good. But I will have a nice solid tool rest, which will be able to accommodate a larger blade if I ever get round to one. And like I say, it'll be height adjustable, so we can come up to here, yeah, thereabouts, down to about the middle, and then further down. So it's so far so good. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that before I end up covering up this spot. Putting that piece in, putting that on top. Otherwise, you wouldn't see what I've done. And yeah, I've just got to obviously put that part there just to hold it in place. Because the tube here is obviously bigger diameter than this one, there is a little bit of wiggle. But once you're on there and a piece of wood, jam that in there, not going anywhere. It's okay. If it's a bit all over the place, sorry. But anyway, it should be finished. Hopefully I'll finish it today. And then I'll show you. Okay, see you. Just a bit of adding to the video here. I've used 1/4 inch 38mm countersunk head bolts and drilled the holes on two opposite angles, I suppose. That way to distribute the tension, I suppose, when you tighten it up. And inside, if you can see there, I'm using two nylon lock nuts on the inside, so hopefully that there shouldn't be any vibration, but if so, better be safe than sorry. And yes, that's just loose at the moment. I've got to tighten it all together, and then get on to the next part. Okay. Alright, last video on this tool rest, and yeah, finally I'll have a go at grinding on my new machine. So you can see that the 90° now is bolted on. The heads are countersunk in, and I just bolted, as you can see, straight through there. Yeah. Straight through this tube, and I did use the bracket that I got from Bunnings. There's a little bit of room there, which, as much as I tried to rebend and get it closer, I couldn't. So what I did is just put a little bit of rubber there, which I had, and I clamped it on either side here to bring it in tight, which then brought the sides in closer. And while it's clamped, I just drove in the screws, and yeah, it's solid. It's not going anywhere. The only thing that I have noticed is when the tool rest was down at the lowest position, the clearance is quite good. But as I get up closer to the top, if you can really see it that well, you can see it's pretty close, and it is touching the platen, the tool rest, just down here, just slightly. Which I don't know if that's a big deal, that it'll eventually, wear into it, and it'll get it, find its depth, I suppose. Otherwise, another idea I've had is these holes in the tool rest, this right-angled steel. I could maybe oval the holes out this way, just this way here. So then it can be adjustable. So all you got to do is tighten down the screw bit and loosen it, so that you can then slide this tool rest back if you need to, or closer if you need to. For the moment though, I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm just going to use it as is because I spent enough time on it. And just spent the morning today picking up drilled steel that you find it everywhere, like a meter and a half away from the drill press. So so I've been doing that. Yeah, so hooray, back to a nice clean workspace, because I can't work in a dirty workspace. And yeah, get creating. Bit of a inside information for you. Bit of steel there, 1075. I'm going to turn it into something. You have to wait and see though. Alrighty. See you.